Alright, in this video we're going to be taking AQA GCSE Math past exam questions on cosine rule and sine rule. So if you've been finding it difficult understanding cosine rule and sine rule, this is your opportunity, so make sure you stick to the end of this video. Now, first question here says circle the value of cos 60 degrees. Now, cos 60 degrees is equal to half. But then, how did I know cos 60 to be equal to half? Now, to solve this, all you need to do is consider a right angle triangle, okay, with reference angle to be 60 degrees. And then we have our hypotenuse. First, we know that the hypotenuse is simply the side opposite the 90 degrees angle. So this is the hypotenuse. And then the side opposite the reference angle, which in this case is 60 degrees, is the opposite. And then the remaining side is the adjacent. Okay, so consider a right angle triangle having our hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. Now we'll take our hypotenuse in this triangle to be equal to 2, our opposite to be equal to root 3, and then adjacent to be equal to 1. Alright, in another video I'm going to show you how I arrived at 2, 1, and root 3 for this scenario or for this case. Alright, so this is what you're going to use to find out the value of cos 60 degrees. Now from here we're going to make reference to our concept of SOHCAHTOA. Alright, SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA simply means sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. That's sine of any angle, sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now in this case we are trying to get cos 60 degrees, so we go with CA. Alright, so we have cos 60 degrees to be equal to adjacent. What's the value of our adjacent? 1. So we have equals 1 all over, what's the value of our hypotenuse? 2. So we have that cos 60 degrees is equal to 1 over 2. So this is our correct answer here. Now moving on, we have this question here which says show that b equals 7. So how do we calculate the value of b, or how do we prove that b is equal to 7? Now to solve this question, we're going to make reference to cosine rule. How did I know it's going to be cosine rule? It's very easy. Cosine rule is usually used, cosine rule, okay, is usually used or taken into consideration whenever you're looking at a relationship between 3 sides and 1 angle of a triangle. All right, you're looking at a relationship between 3 sides and 1 angle of a triangle. Here we have 5, b, and 8. These are the 3 sides of this triangle, and then we have just 1 angle here. So whenever we have a relationship between 3 sides and 1 angle in a triangle, we make reference to cosine rule. And what's the cosine rule all about? Let's say for instance we have a triangle, okay, a triangle with angle theta, and then we have sides A, B, and C. According to cosine rule, we have that b squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cos theta. How did I arrive at this? First, you just need to understand that whenever there is cosine rule, or whenever we take into consideration cosine rule, there must be 3 sides and 1 angle. Now we have the 3 sides and we have 1 angle. So first, you must just consider the angle there. You look at the angle, the 1 angle we are talking about, you look at it here, it's theta. Now what's the side opposite this angle? It's b. That side will be the subject of the formula, or will be the only thing on one side of the equation. Alright, so first you consider the angle, which in this case is theta. Alright, and then what's the side opposite theta? B. So we'll just say b squared, alright, equals the sum of the squares of the other 2 sides. That's a squared plus c squared minus 2 times the product of those 2 sides, cos of the angle. Alright, so first you need to consider the angle in question, and then you look at the side opposite the angle, which will now be the subject of the formula, equals the sum of the squares of the 2 remaining sides minus 2 times the product of the 2 remaining sides, cos the angle in the question. So looking at what we have here, this is our reference angle. Remember, first you must look at the angle, or you must take into consideration the angle. All right, that will tell you what your cosine rule formula will be for that particular question. All right, so here we have 60 degrees. So what's the side opposite 60 degrees? We have it to be b. So we'll just come down here, we'll say b squared. All right, b will be the subject of the formula since it's opposite the reference angle. So we have b squared equals the sum of squares of the two other sides. So that will be equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times the product of those two other sides again. So you have 2 times 5 times 8 cos the reference angle, which is what? 60 degrees. So that will give us b squared to be equal to 5 squared being 25 plus 64 minus 2 times 5 times 8, which is minus 80 cos 60. All right, if we simplify this with our calculator, we are going to arrive at, though this particular question is non-calculator, and that's why they asked us the value of cos 60 in the A part of this question. All right, cos 60, remember, we got it to be half, so we can continue from here. We have 25 plus 64 minus 80 times cos 60, which we've already calculated in question 1a we have. So we have minus 80 times 1 over 2. And that will give us b squared to be equal to 25 plus 64 minus, this will take out this, 80 times half is 40. So we have minus 40. And this at the end of the day will give us, this is 25 plus 64, and that's 89. 89 minus 40, that will give us 49. So we have b squared to be equal to 49. So to get b, we'll take square root of both sides, and that will be square root of b squared equals square root of 49. Square will cancel square root, and then we're going to have b to be equal to square root of 49 to be 7. So that's it. So with this, we have shown that b is equal to 7. Now to the next question here, it says, here is a triangle, work out the length of PR. All right, so we want to get this length here, PR. All right, so this again is a cosine rule problem. Why is it cosine rule problem? Because we are looking at the relationship between three sides, okay, and one angle. So whenever you have a problem that deals with a relationship between three sides and one angle, you fall back to cosine rule. So what's going to be our cosine rule formula here? It's very easy. First, you must consider the angle in the question. All right, this is the angle in the question. What is the side opposite that angle? PR. That will be the subject of our formula. All right, so we're going to have PR squared equals the sum of squares of the other two sides, that is 6 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 6 times 9 cos the reference angle, which is 120. All right, PR squared, which is the side opposite the angle in question, equals the sum of squares of the two other sides minus 2 times the product of the two other sides cos 120. So that will give us PR squared equals 6 squared being 36, okay, plus 81 minus 2 times 6 times 9. Now this particular question is calculator, so we can make use of our calculator. So we have 2 times 6 times 9, all right, times cos 120, cos 120. All right, and this, the whole of this is equal to minus 54. All right, so we have minus 54. All right, so simplifying, we have PR squared equals 36 plus 81, minus minus is plus, so we have plus 54. Okay, if we simplify further, we're going to have PR squared equals 36 plus 81 plus 54. That will give us 171. All right, now to get PR, we're going to take square root of both sides. So we have square root of PR squared equals square root of 171. This will take out this, and then you're going to have PR to be equal to square root of 171. That will give us 3 root 19, or in decimal 13.08 cm. Okay, so this is our value of PR using the cosine rule formula. So our next question here says, work out the angle of x. So is this problem also a cosine rule problem? Now, if you look at this question very well, you discover that we are not looking at just one angle in our question. We have two angles to take into consideration: 125 degrees angle and x degrees angle. All right, and then we have just two sides given. So this cannot be a cosine rule problem. We only make use of cosine rule whenever we are looking at the relationship between three sides and one angle. In this question, we're looking at two sides and two angles. So this question is going to fall back to our sine rule. So we're going to draw a triangle here. Let's say we have a triangle, and the triangle has sides A, angle theta, side B, and then maybe angle X. Okay, so according to our sine rule, it says that if you take a side, you need to take the angle opposite that side. All right, so we have A all over, what's the angle opposite side A? Theta. So we have A over sine theta equals, we take this other side B, what's the angle opposite it? We have X. So we have B over sine X. So this is our sine rule. All right, so now let's apply this to this problem here. We have X, we have 6. Okay, so if we are taking X, we need to look at the side opposite X, which is 6. So we're going to say 6 over sine X equals, for 125, what's the side opposite is 14. So we have 14 over sine 125. All right, so at this point, we want to get X. They said work out the value of angle X. So what so what we're going to do here is to cross multiply. All right, then we're going to have 14 sine x, 14 sine x equals 6 sine 125. All right, so to get x, we divide both sides by 14, and that will give us 14 sine x all over 14 equals 6 sine 125 all over 14. All right, so this will cancel this, and then you're going to have sine x to be equal to 6 sine 125 divided by 14. So we'll use our calculator here because this question is for calculator option. So we have 6 sine 125, okay, divided by 14. And that will give us approximately 0.351. So to get x, we'll take the sine inverse. All right, so we have x to be equal to sine inverse of 0.351, and that will give us 20.55 degrees. So this is our answer here for angle x. So moving on, we have a very interesting question here. The question reads, the diagram shows a logo. ABE and DCE are congruent triangles. ABE, DCE are congruent triangles. And what's the meaning of congruent triangles? Congruent triangles are simply triangles whose area are the same. All right, whose area are the same or are equal. Areas are equal, their sides are also equal to each other, their angles are also equal to each other. All right, so now they said BCE is a sector of a circle. So BCE is a sector, all right, with center at E. Okay, it says show that the area of the logo is 510 cm squared to two significant figures. All right, so we want to get the area of this entire shape. Now looking at this shape, this is a shape of two triangles combined and a sector. So all we need to do here is to get the area of this shape, we'll simply say area of shape, or we can say area of logo equals area of the two triangles plus area of sector. Okay, so first let's get the area of the two triangles. Now remember, the two triangles are congruent. Okay, that's to say their sides are equal, their angles are equal, and their area too will be equal. All right, so if this is 26, here will be 26, this is 15, this is 15, this is 38, this also be 38. Okay, so now let's try to calculate the area of one of them, and then we'll multiply it by 2, and that will give us the area of the two triangles. So area of just one triangle, we have just this triangle here. We can draw it out here. I just try to make a rough sketch. So this is 38, and then this is 26, and then this is 15. The area of this triangle is simply going to be half times the product of the two sides involved, which is 15 times 26 times sine 38. That will be the equation or the formula for calculating the area of the triangle. All right, we usually use this formula whenever we have two sides and one angle. All right, rather than saying half base times height, you just say half times the product of the two sides you're given times the angle you're given. So if we solve this with our calculator, we're going to have 1 over 2 times 15 times 26, okay, times sine 38 degrees, and that will give us 120.05. So we have 120.05 cm squared. All right, that's the area of just one of the triangle. Okay, you can see this one. Now the area of the two triangles, area of the two triangles will be equal to 2 times the area of just one. Okay, so we have 2 times 120.05, and that will give us 240.11 cm squared. So that's the area of the two triangles. So how about the sector here? Area of the sector. Area of sector. Okay, don't forget the area of the logo is the area of the two triangles combined plus the area of sector. So area of sector is equal to theta over 360 times pi r squared. All right, so theta is given to us. How about the radius? Was the radius given to us? No, the radius was not given to us. We need to calculate the radius here. Okay, the radius of the sector. Remember, they said this is the center, so the center to any part on the circumference is the radius. So we need to calculate r. So how do we calculate r? Now if we just consider this triangle alone, okay, we can come down here and solve for r. Okay, this is the same as this. So let's say we want to use this triangle to get r. Okay, now if you look at this triangle very well, you discover that it's a triangle that is a relationship of 3 sides and an angle. So it simply means we're going to be making use of cosine rule. So what's our angle here? 38 degrees. What's the side opposite is r? So we're going to say this is going to give us r squared equals the sum of squares of the two sides, that's 26 squared plus 15 squared, minus 2 times the product of the two sides, that's 2 times 26 times 15 cos 38. So that will give us r squared to be equal to, using our calculator, we have 26 squared, that will give us 676, plus 15 squared, that will give us 225, minus 2 times 26 times 26 times 15 times cos 38. That will give us 614.65. So we have minus 614.65. Alright, so simplifying this, we're going to have r squared to be equal to, take this together, 676 plus 225 minus 614.65. That will give us 286.35. So we have r squared to be equal to 286.35. So to get r, we'll take square root of both sides. That will give us square root of r squared equals square root of 286.35. Okay, so this is going to cancel out this, and then our final answer for the radius being r will be r equal square root of 286.35, and that will give us 16.92. So we have 16.92 cm, okay, as the radius. So we can use this now in our formula to get area of sector. So the area of the sector will be theta, which is 108 over 360 times pi, okay, which is 22 over 7. Pi is approximately 22 over 7 times r squared, which is 16.92 squared. So simplifying this, area of sector will be equal to, that will give us 269.82. So we have 269.82 cm squared. Alright, so now to get the area of the logo, do not forget area of logo is equal to 2 times area of the two triangles, okay, which is 240.11, 240.11 plus area of sector, which is 269.82. So area of logo will now give us, this will give us plus 240.11. That will give us 509.93 cm squared, which is approximately 510 cm squared. Okay, so this is our answer here. Okay, so this is just the solution to this problem. Show that the area of the logo is 510 cm squared, approximately to two significant figures. So this is it, to two significant figures. Alright, so our next question here says, work out the size of angle X. Work out the size of angle X. Alright, now looking at this question very well, you discover that you have three sides and an angle. Alright, so it simply means we'll have to fall back to cosine rule. Okay, so what's going to be our formula for this problem? We take into consideration the angle X. What is the side opposite angle X? 55. Okay, so our cosine rule formula is going to be 55 squared equals the sum of squares of the two remaining sides, which is 32 squared plus 40 squared minus 2 times the product of the two remaining sides. So we have 2 times 32 times 40 cos the angle in a triangle or in the question, which is x. Alright, so simplifying further, we have 55 squared. 55 squared is equal to 3025. So we have 3025 equals 32 squared. 32 squared, which is 1024, plus 40 squared, which is 1600, minus 2 times 32 times 40 times 40, which is 2560 cos x. Alright, so moving on, we're going to have 3025 equals 1024 plus 1600, which is 2624 minus 2560 cos x. Alright, so we take 2624 to the other side of the equation, and it's going to be 3025 minus 2624 equals, we'll be left with minus 2560 cos x. Alright, so simplifying, we have 3025 minus 2624, which is 401, equals minus 2560 cos x. Alright, so to get x, we divide both sides by minus 2560. So that will give us 401 all over minus 2560 equals minus 2560 cos x all over minus 2560. So this is going to cancel out this. And then you're going to have cos x to be equal to 401 divided by minus 2560. And that will give us minus 0.157. So to get x, we simply take the cos inverse of our answer here. So we have x to be equal to cos inverse of minus 0.157. So we have shift cos of answer, and that will give us x to be 99.01 degrees. So this is our answer here. Now question 6 here says work out the length of y. Alright, so this is a problem on sine rule. Why is it a problem on sine rule? It's a problem on sine rule because we are looking at a relationship between two sides, okay, and two angles. Okay, so we'll say this will be, based on our sine rule, we're going to have y all over, what's this angle opposite to y? 73 degrees. So I have y over sine 73 equals, take 23 over sine of the angle opposite 23, which is 40. So you have sine 40. Alright, so if we cross multiply, we're going to have y sine 40 equals 23 sine 73. So to get y, you divide both sides by sine 40. So you have y sine 40 all over sine 40 equals 23 sine 73 all over sine 40. Okay, so this will cancel out this, and then you have y to be equal to 23 sine 73 divided by sine 40. That will give us 34.22 cm. Now moving on, question 7, they say work out the length W. Work out the length W. Alright, so how do we solve this? This is also a sine rule problem. You have two angles and two sides. Alright, so this is going to be W all over sine 65 equals 18 all over sine 40. Okay, so to get W, we cross multiply, and that will give us W sine 40 equals 18 sine 65. Okay, so to get W now, we divide both sides by sine 40. So we have W sine 40 all over sine 40 equals 18 sine 65 all over sine 40. So this will cancel out this, and we'll be left with W equals, we have 18 sine 65 divided by sine 40. Using our calculator, our answer becomes 25.38 cm. Now the next question here says work out the size of angle X. Okay, this is also a sine rule problem because we have two angles and two sides. Alright, so we apply our sine rule again. We take 50 cm, we take this angle opposite it, so we have 50 over sine X equals, we'll take 95, we'll take the angle opposite it, which is 130 degrees. So we have 95 over sine 130. Alright, so we'll cross multiply, and this will give us 95 sine X equals 50 sine 130. So to get X, we divide both sides by 95. So we have 95 sine X all over 95 equals 50 sine 130 all over 95. So this will take out this, and we'll be left with sine X to be equal to 50 sine 130 divided by 95. That will give us 0.403. So to get X, take sine inverse of what we have on the right hand side. So X will be sine inverse of 0.403, and that will give us 23.76 cm, which is approximately 24 cm. Now question 9 here says work out the length y. Work out the length y. Alright, so is this problem a sine rule problem or cosine rule problem? Kindly pause this video and look at it critically. Alright, so this problem is a cosine rule problem because we are looking at a relationship between three sides and one angle. Alright, so we'll fall back to cosine rule. So whenever we have cosine rule, first you must consider the angle in the question, alright, which is 40 degrees. Now what's the side opposite the angle? Y. So it simply means y is the subject of the formula for this question. So we're going to have y squared equals y squared equals 30 squared plus 72 squared minus 2 times 30 times 72 cos 40. Okay, so that will give us y squared equals 30 squared being 900. So we have 900 plus 72 squared being 5184 minus 2 times 30, okay, times 72 times cos 40. That will give us 3309.31. So simplifying, we have y squared equals 900 plus 5184, okay, minus 3309.31. That will give us 2774.69. So to get y, you take square root of both sides. So we have square root of y squared equals square root of 2774.69. So square root of y squared, that will give us y equals square root of 2774.69. That will give us 52.675 cm, which is approximately 53 cm. Now, next question here, question 9, it says work out the size of angle PQR. Okay, that's this angle here. You should get the size of this angle. So how do we go about that? It's also very easy. This is a cosine rule problem. Okay, we can call this angle X. Okay, it's a cosine rule problem because we are looking at the relationship between three sides and one angle. All right, so this is the angle here. What's the side opposite the angle? PR, which is 19 cm. So that will be the subject of the formula. So we have 19 squared equals 13 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 13 times 15 times cos x. Alright, so that will give us 19 squared, which is 361, equals 13 squared, which is 169, plus 15 squared, which is 225, minus 2 times 13 times 15, which is minus 390 cos x. Okay, and that will give you 361 equals 169 plus 225, which is 394 minus 390 cos x. Right, so to get x, we move this to this other side of the equation, and then we're going to have 361 minus 394 equals, this will be left on the right hand side, minus 390 cos x. Alright, so that will give us 361 minus 394. That will give us minus 33 equals minus 390 cos x. So to get x, we divide both sides by minus 390. So we have minus 33 all over minus 390 equals minus 390 cos x all over minus 390. So this will take out this, and then we'll be left with cos x to be equal to minus 390 divided minus 33 divided by 390. That will give us 0.085, okay, approximately. So to get x, we take cos inverse of what we have on the right hand side. So x will be equal to cos inverse of 0.085. So we have shift cos, and that will give us approximately 85 degrees. So that's the value of x. Now question 10, they say work out the size of angle x. Now this is a right angle triangle, okay? So we don't need to start bothering about whether to use cosine rule or sine rule. Whenever we have a right angle triangle, we just make use of Pythagoras theorem or SOHCAHTOA. Pythagoras theorem if you're looking for any of the sides, SOHCAHTOA if you're looking for the angle. Alright, here we are looking for angle here. Alright, so make references SOHCAHTOA. Alright, so now from what we have here, we're looking for x. What are the sides we are given? We are given this is opposite because it's the side opposite the angle x. Alright, this is the hypotenuse, is the side opposite the right angle, and then this is the adjacent because it's the remaining side when we've taken the opposite and the hypotenuse. Alright, so we have opposite and adjacent given to us. So whenever you're looking at a relationship between opposite and adjacent, you know it's going to be tan. Alright, so to solve this problem, we use tan x equals opposite, which is 7, all over adjacent, which is 12. Alright, so tan x will be equal to 7 over 12. 7 over 12. That will give us 0.583. 583. Alright, so to get x, you take tan inverse of what we have on the right hand side. Tan inverse of 0.583, and that will give us x to be 30.26 degrees approximately. Now the next question here says work out the length BC. Okay, the length BC. This is a sine rule problem because we have two angles and we're looking at a relationship between two sides. Okay, BC, AC, 40 degrees and 110. So to solve this, we use sine rule. So we're going to have BC all over sine 40 equals 18 all over sine 110. If we cross multiply, we're going to have BC sine 110, BC sine 110 equals 18 sine 40. So to get BC, we'll divide both sides by sine 110. That will give us BC sine 110 all over sine 110 equals 18 sine 40 all over sine 110. Alright, so this will cancel out this, and we're going to be left with BC to be equal to 18 sine 40 divided by sine 110. So that'll give us 12.31 cm. Now our next question here says, here is triangle ABC. Show that angle B equals 60 degrees. Okay, so this is the angle we're talking about. Show that this angle is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, so we want to find out if this angle is actually 60 degrees. So basically we're looking at this triangle has three sides and angle B is one angle here. Okay, so we are looking at relationship between three sides and one angle. So to solve this, we make use of cosine rule. So that will give us, based on our cosine rule, our formula here will now be, this is our angle here. What's the side opposite it? Root 14. So say root 14 all squared equals the sum of squares of these remaining two sides, which is going to be 3 root 2 all squared plus root 2 squared minus 2 times root 2, okay, times 3 root 2 cos b. All right, so simplifying this, we're going to have root 14 squared. This will cancel this and we'll be left with 14, and then 3 root 2 all squared. 3 squared is 9, so we're going to have 9 times root 2 squared is 2, so we have 9 times 2 here, okay, plus root 2 all squared is 2 minus 2 times root 2, which is 2 root 2, okay, times 3 root 2. So we have 2 root 2, can just put this in bracket, 2 root 2 times 3 root 2, okay, cos b. So that will give us 14 equals 9 times 2, this is 18, 18 plus 2, that will give us 20 minus 2 root 2 times 3 root 2, 2 times 3 is 6, root 2 times root 2 is 2, so we're going to have 6 times 2 here, which is 12, okay, cos b. So simplifying further, we'll move 20 to this other side. We have 14 minus 20 equals minus 12 cos b. 14 minus 20 is minus 6 equals minus 12 cos b. So to get b, divide both sides by minus 12. So you have minus 6 all over minus 12 equals minus 12 cos b all over minus 12. So this will cancel this. So we have cos b to be equal to minus divided by minus. We have 6 divided by 12, which is 0.5 or half. So b is going to give us cos inverse of 0.5, which is equal to, if we use our calculator here, we're going to have 60 degrees. So this is our answer here. So this is the solution for the A part. All right. Now they said, hence, work out the area of triangle ABC. Work out the area of this triangle. If we want to solve for the area of this triangle, let's take into consideration this angle 60 degrees. We can just work with this angle here, this angle 60 degrees, and then these two sides. Okay, so our area, we can solve the area to be equal to 1 over 2 times root 2 times 3 root 2 times sine 60. Okay, and if we simplify this further, we're going to get 1 over root 2, okay, times root 2 times 3 root 2, 3 root 2 times root 3 over 2. Okay, sine 60 is root 3 over 2. You can use your calculator to verify. All right, so this is now going to give us, we have uh, 1 times root 2, which is root 2, root 2 times 3 root 2, 3 root 2 times root 2, that will give us 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, so 6 times root 3, that will give us 6 root 3 all over 2 times 2, which is 4. And this can further be simplified to 2 here, 3, 2 here, 2. So answer here will be 3 root 3 all over 2 cm squared. Okay, so that's it here. Now question 12, they said which equation is correct for the triangle? Circle your answer. Which equation is correct for the triangle? Circle your answer. We have cos x equals this. Now first of all, this question here, this triangle here, basically they are looking at the value of x. That's why you're seeing all the options x is the subject of the formula, trying to get the value of x. And you can see that everything here is cos, so obviously it's cosine rule. Besides, it's 3 sides and 1 angle, so it's cosine rule. All right, so let's just use cosine rule and get our equation first without making reference to this. So based on cosine rule, we're going to have 15 squared equals 8 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 8 times 9 cos x. So to know our correct option here, we simply make cos x subject of the formula. Alright, so that's simply going to be, first we move 8 squared and 9 squared to the other side of the equation. So we have 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9 squared. Okay, and that will be equal to minus 2 times 8 times 9 cos x. Alright, so to get cos x, now we'll divide both sides by what we have left. Okay, we can't move this to this other side because it is attached to cos x. They are all multiplying. Alright, so that will give us 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9 squared divided by minus 2 times 8 times 9 equals minus 2 times 8 times 9 cos x all over minus 2 times 8 times 9. The whole of this will cancel out this, and then we'll be left with cos x to be equal to 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9 squared all over minus 2 times 8 times 9. Alright, so which one of these options is our correct answer? Okay, now all we have here is the same thing as saying, this is like saying cos x. If you look at all the options, there's no one that is exactly like this. Alright, so but we can simplify further. Now how do we go about that? What we have here is still the same thing as saying cos x equals positive 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9 squared all over negative 2 times 8 times 9. Okay, now if you observe very well, we can actually use this is a positive sign up. Okay, positive divided by negative, we can divide the signs, and then we're going to have cos x to be equal to plus divided by minus is minus, so that will give us negative in the numerator 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9 squared all over 2 times 8 times 9. All right, and our answer there is now going to be cos x. We use this negative sign to open up this bracket. We have negative times positive, that will give us negative 15 squared. Negative times negative, that will give us positive 8 squared. negative times negative, that will give us positive 9 squared. Okay, all over 2 times 8 times 9. So this is our answer, which is we have the first one, 15 squared minus 8 squared minus 9. No, this is not correct. Just 15 squared is negative. And then the second one, 8 squared positive, yes. 9 squared positive, negative 15 squared. No, denominator does not agree. We have 2 times 8 times 9, not 15 times 8 times 9. And a third one, 8 squared positive, yes. 9 squared positive, 15 squared negative, yes. And then 2 times 8 times. So this is the correct answer here. This is the correct answer. Okay, so we can still rearrange this. This is positive 8 squared, positive 9 squared, negative 15 squared. So we can rearrange this to be 8 squared plus 9 squared, negative 15 squared, all over 2 times 8 times 9. Alright, and then they said use your calculator to work out the value of x in your equation. Alright, so let's just finish it up. Let's get the value of x. We have that cos x first will be equal to, we can use our calculator to simplify this. This is 8 squared plus 9 squared minus 15 squared, okay, divided by 2 times 8 times 9. That will give us minus 0.56 minus 0.56. Alright, so x, the value of x, our value of x is going to have x to be equal to cos inverse of minus 0.56. Okay, and that will give you shift cos minus 0.56, which is 124 degrees. Alright, so option B, question B has answer to be approximately, this is 124 degrees. Now question 13 here says use the cosine rule to work out the size of angle x. 3 sides and 1 angle given. So according to cosine rule, we are going to have the side opposite the angle being 15. 15 squared equals 11 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 11 times 12 cos x. That will give us 15 squared, which is 225 equals 11 squared, which is 121 plus 12 squared, which is 144 minus 2 times 11 times 12. Okay, that will give us 264 cos x. So that will give us 225 equals 121 plus 144 is going to be 265 minus 264 cos x. So simplifying further, we can move 265 to this other side. We have 225 minus 265 equals minus 264 cos x. 225 minus 265, which is minus 40, equals minus 264 cos x. So divide both sides by minus 264. That gives us minus 40 all over minus 264 equals minus 264 cos x all over minus 264. This will cancel this. Then we will have cos x to be equal to 0.151. Okay, so to get x, we take cos inverse. X will be equal to cos inverse of 0.151. That will give you 81.285 degrees. So that's the value of x. Now, the B part of this question, he says, use the sine rule to work out the length of BC. Okay, so sine rule says if we have this is going to be BC all over sine 35. According to sine rule, BC over sine 35 equals 8 all over sine 74. So to get BC, we cross multiply BC times sine 74. So we have BC sine 74 equals 8 sine 35. 8 sine 35. So to get BC, we divide both sides by sine 74. So that will give us BC sine 74 all over sine 74 equals 8 sine 35 all over sine 74. So this will take out this and we'll be left with BC to be equal to 4.77 cm. Okay, so this question here is on sine rule. It says work out the length x. It's on sine rule because we have two angles and two sides. We're looking at a relationship between two angles and two sides. Okay, so to get this, we say x over sine 19. X over sine 19 equals 8 over sine 123. Alright, so that will give us, if we cross multiply, we have x sine 123 equals 8 sine 19. So to get x, divide both sides by sine 123. So that will give us x to be 8 sine 19 all over sine 123. So our answer becomes 8 sine 19 divided by sine 123, 3.11 cm. Okay, so the B part of the question here says circle the statements that are true. Sine 123 equals sine 57 degrees. We can use our calculator to verify this. Sine 123 is approximately 0.84. Sine 57 approximately 0.84. Then here we have sine 123 approximately 0.84 cos 57 minus 0.544. So you see that this is the correct one. This one gives us approximately 0.84, approximately 0.84. Let's try to verify this also. Cos 123 minus 0.544 and then cos 57 0.2. They are not exactly the same. All right. Then let's try this one out. Cos 123 minus 0.544 and then minus cos 57 minus 0.544. So this and this are the correct. So they say circle the statements that are true. So we have this and this, okay, to be true. Now here they said work out the length y. Work out the length y. Now to get length y, we look at the triangle very well. We discover that in this triangle we have two angles and two sides. So this is obviously going to be sine rule. Alright, so say y over sine 19. Y over sine 19 equals 8 over sine 57. Alright, so to solve this, we cross multiply. This is going to give us y sine 57 equals 8 sine 19. Okay, that will give us y to be equal to 8 sine 19 all over sine 57. Alright, so simplifying further, we have 8 sine 19 divided by sine 57. So this gives us y to be 3.11 cm. Okay, so I think this question is a repeated question. It's a question that's come out before. All right, so with this, we've come to the end of this video. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right, also tell your friends and your colleagues about this channel. Everything about GCSE, maths, physics, chemistry, biology will be covered. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.